morning, class. Another fruitful lesson will be tackled today. Are you ready? Before we start, kindly prepare your learning module, notebook, and ballpen for you to understand and follow the instruction and discussion for today. Is that clear? Okay. So, may I check your attendance? Is there any absent for today? No one? Okay, very good, class. So now, before we proceed for our new topic, let us recall first our topic last meeting. So, what was our topic last meeting? Yes, billiard. So, last meeting, very good. Last meeting, we discussed about the difference between the plant cell and animal cell. So, I have here a different color boxes. Each box has questions, and I want you to answer on the box. So, who wants to volunteer? Yes, Cruz. So, choose one. Yellow. Okay. So, read the question. Okay, what's your answer? Very good. So, plants can be found in the cell wall, plasmid, chloroplast, and large vacuole, but absent in animal cell. So we clarify that the animal cell have the vacuole but in smaller size compared to plant cell. Very good. So another one. Yes, passion. Just one. Blue. Okay. So read the question. So, give one difference between the plant and animal cell. Okay, so plant cell have the fixed or regular shape, while the animal cell have a regular shape. Very good. So, the last one. Yes, Romulo. Read the question. What is your answer? Yes, very good. The cell is considered the basic structural and functional unit of organism because it provides the life and the structure of all living things. So I think you remember it well. Very good, class. Job well done. Very good. So now, before we proceed for our new topic, let's have a game first. This game titled Pick Picking. So I have here a set of pictures. So you need to use the picture as your clues and to complete the word on the box. Is that clear? So please thumbs up if you still hear me. Okay, you still hear me. Very good. So now, let's start. Kindly raise your hand if you want to answer. First. Yes, Cledera. What is your answer? Very good. It is offspring. Another one. Yes, Miranda. It is very good. It is fusion. And then the last one. Yes, Carmen. What's the answer? Very good. It is reproduction. So based on the activity we had, who has an idea our topic for today? Anyone, class? Yes. Alvarez. Very good. Our topic for today is about reproduction. Reproduction, the continuity of life. So now, let's today objectives, the competencies. At the end of the lesson, you should be able to describe the asexual and sexual reproduction, differentiate the offspring resulting from each mode of reproduction, discuss and present the number of individuals involved and similarities of offspring to parents. So, in your own idea, what is reproduction? Anyone, class? Yes. Digia. Very good. Reproduction, it is the process by which all living organisms produce one of their kinds to ensure the survival of the species. So, in this lesson, we focus on animal reproduction. Okay? So, reproduction, we consider this as a unified theme of or the characteristic of life. It's very important for the survival of the living organism. So now, to understand more our lesson, let's have an activity. So I have here your different tasks. So in this part, you need to examine the different organisms in the environment and then identify what kind of reproduction they use. Okay? So, all members of group 1, this is your test. And then, I will send it to you. And then, for group 2, this is your test. And for group 3, this is your test. You need to answer the questions. And then, you have 5 minutes to finish your work. Okay? I will choose one of the member of each group to present later. Okay? You may start now. Are you done? Okay. So let's proceed. Let's proceed to group 1. Group 1, please present your work. Very good. So the animal assigned to group 1 is frog. Frog is required to parent to reproduce the female and male frog. So how they to reproduce? The female frog lay eggs in the water, and the male frog shed the eggs on the same area. So the egg fertilized in the water. So the tadpole will be created and will become a frog. Okay, so now, very good. Group 1, please give a round of applause for group 1. Group 2, please present your work. Okay, very good. Please give a round of applause for group 1. The assigned organism in group 2 is starfish. So how they reproduce? They reproduce on itself. So they no need any organism to reproduce. They can reproduce by on itself. Okay, so because they can reproduce on itself, the offspring is similar or the exact copy of the parent. Okay, another one is group 2. Okay, present your work. Very good. Please give a round of applause for group 3. The assigned organism to group 3 is chicken. And how they reproduce? Okay, so the hen or the rooster is take the opening on the opening of the hen, and then the sperm swing on the oviduct, and the sum of the egg will be fertilized. So the fertilized egg will be released by the hen, and it will be incubate and warm it by the hand. So that is the way of reproduction of chicken. So now, let's proceed to different types of reproduction. We have two kinds of reproduction. Very good, the asexual and sexual reproduction. So now, let's discuss first the asexual reproduction. Asexual reproduction, it is one cell organism can reproduce an exact copy of the parent. So, it requires only one parent they can reproduce on itself. So because they can reproduce on itself, the offspring are exact copy of the parent. Okay, so we have different types of asexual reproduction. Fission. What do you mean by fission, class? Anyone? Yes, Gomez. Very good. Fission means that the an component or an individual is splitting out or divide. Okay? In this case, in asexual reproduction, the individual divides into two halves, after which it's grown to the original form. So the example of this is paramecium. Do you know what is paramecium, class? Okay, paramecium is a one kind of one cell organism. So it can be found in the ponds, in the lakes. This paramecium, they undergo the process fission. So one individual of paramecium can divide into two, then it will become a new organism or offspring. Another one is bonding. The parent organism produces offspring by growing a replica in the form of outgrowth called a bond in some part of its body. After it had grown enough, it falls off and becomes an exact copy of its parent. Okay, so the example of this is hydra and sponge. This is the sponge, this is the hydra, and they undergo the process bonding. So the smaller one is what we call the bond. Yes. Another one is fragmentation. Fragmentation, the separated pieces of the parent organism can develop into an individual. Example of this are starfish and flatworms. So this is the starfish, flatworms, starfish. So, for example, you're scared, you saw a flatworms, and then you broke it. You try to broke it, and then it's not a good or a proper way, because it will become more flatworms. Okay, so now let's proceed to another one, sexual reproduction. Another type of reproduction, sexual reproduction. If the asexual reproduction, the offspring is an exact copy of the parent, in a sexual reproduction, it involves the two parents, and produce offspring that are genetically unique. Okay, so in this case, a sexual reproduction, the offspring is different from the parent because of combining of two genetic materials. In sexual reproduction, the egg of the female organism and the sperm of the male organism join to form an entirely new organism. If an egg and a sperm cell join together, it will be formed a zygote. Okay? So offspring are different from the parents organism because requiring two parents combining two parents different genetic material. Okay? So if the asexual reproduction it requires only one parent, in asexual reproduction it requires two parents to reproduce. Okay? So we have different methods of sexual reproduction. Sexual reproduction, we have external fertilization. External fertilization usually requires a medium such as water which the sperm can use to swim toward the egg cell. Okay? So it means it occur outside the body. Okay? So example of this is the frog, right? Like for example, the female lays the egg into water and the male frog squeeze the sperm and then it will be fertilized on the same area. So this is an example of external fertilization. So usually they use water as a medium. Okay. Another one is internal fertilization. Internal fertilization, the fusion of male and female gametes inside the body of parent. So it means it occurs inside the body. Okay, so it needs the specialized gametes, the male and female. So now, to more understanding about our lesson, let's have a group activity. So each group have a certain task. The group 1, all members of group 1 differentiate the sexual and asexual reproduction using Venn diagram. Group 2 give two organisms that reproduce asexually and explain it. Group 3 give two organisms that reproduce sexually and explain it. So you need to explain how they reproduce. Okay? So you can work it. I will give you 8 minutes to finish your work, and I will choose one member of the group to represent the work. Okay? So you will be graded based on these rubrics. Okay? The team, 5 points. The output follow the direction excellently. 3 points. The output follow the direction but with minimal errors. 2 points. The output did not follow the direction. Cooperation. The member cooperated to finish the activity. 3 points. Most member cooperated to finish the activity. 2 points. Few member cooperated to finish the activity. Okay? So you may start now. Okay, are you done, class? So let's start with group 1. Representative of group 1 is De La Cruz. Okay, very good. Give a round of applause for group 1. Group 2, please present your work. Very good. Please give a round of applause for group 2. The last one, Group 3, please present your work. Okay, very good. Please give a round of applause for Group 3. So now, let's find analysis in our lesson. So, what do you think will happen if the organism cannot reproduce or it stopped to reproduce? What do you think will happen? Anyone, class? Yes, Zamora. Very good. So organism will be diminished or disappear, and no one organism will be formed in next generation. Very good. So what do you think will be the importance of reproduction in all living organisms? What do you think the importance? Okay, it is very important to survive the species of the organism. Okay, so now get your notebook or paper and pen to answer this question. Read each statement carefully and write the letter of the correct answer. So you have 1 minute each item to answer. Which of the following structures are not involved in a sexual reproduction? A. Gametes. B. Tuber. C. Stem. D. Roots. Okay. Are you done, class? Okay, let's check. What is the answer of number 1? Gametes. B. Tubers. C. Stem. D. Roots. What is the structure not involved in a sexual reproduction? It is gametes. Very good. Another 2. Which species can produce offspring that are genetically different from the parent? A. A species that has few variations. B. Species that reproduce asexually. C. A species that reproduce sexually. D. A species that competes with a similar species. It is letter C. A species that reproduce sexually. Why? Because it is the only that can reproduce the offspring that are genetically different from the parent. Number 3. In a sexual reproduction, what is the source of genetic material in the zygote? In the zygote, A. An egg cell only. B. A sperm cell only. C. A pollen and a sperm cell only. D. An egg cell and sperm cell. That is the answer. Letter D. Very good. It is an egg cell and sperm cell. 4. What is not a characteristic of sexual reproduction? A. Gametes from two parents unite to form a zygote. B. Offspring are genetically identical to the parent. C. Offspring are different from the parent and siblings. D. Genetically variability of offspring help to ensure their survival in changing environmental conditions. It is? What is the answer? Letter B, because we find not a characteristic of sexual reproduction. In a sexual reproduction, the offspring are not identical to the parent. Number 5, a sperm cell unites with an egg cell to form a zygote. Which processes take place? A. Pollination. B. Fertilization. C. Asexual reproduction. D. Vegetative propagation. It is letter B. Fertilization. If an egg cell and sperm cell unite, they form a zygote. This process is what we call fertilization. It's letter B. So, class, who got 5? Excellent. Very good. Who got 4? Job well done. Who got 3? Very good. Good job. So, most of you got the passing score and perfect score. Very good, class. So now, for our agreement, answer the pre-test on page 108 in Science Learning Guide Science 7. Okay? Any questions? Clarification? None? Okay. So, for ending, success is not final. Failure is not fatal. It is the courage to continue that counts. Okay? See you on next meeting. Goodbye, class. Thank you and keep safe.